Well, it is.
All right. So if someone came running up and started banging on your door in the middle of the night, some chick screaming, "Help me, help me, help me," would you let her in and help her, or would you be like, I think you need to move on?
Probably let her in and help me. Why would you not?
She's going to help you?
Or help her? I don't fucking know. I mean...
Well, I don't know. You know what kind of trouble is going to come from that? What if someone starts barging in with guns and then you're both dead? Or I mean, what if she is a Trojan horse and then she attacks and tries to murder you?
What are we, in the middle of Newark? I mean, I don't think so. Like, I don't know.
What if she's a vampire and she needed your permission to get in? Now you've let her in.
I mean, is she gonna kill me or turn me?
The story's not been written yet.
I don't know. I'm an idiot.
You wouldn't know either way. She's knocking on the door. You let her in, and who knows what's gonna happen?
How hot is she?
I would say, I don't know, not very. But you don't have that type of decision making. As soon as you open the door and she's like, "Let me in," and she either barges in and you're like, "Hit that, no, get out of here," or yeah, come in. How can I help you?
I'd probably help her if she looked like she was in trouble.
Okay.
I mean, would you not?
I don't know. This is a question for you, not me.
So I gotta fucking answer the question.
Of course you do. That's the whole point. I always ask you these questions.
It's true. It's very true. All right. Welcome back to How Did You Find This Podcast on our second episode. Woo! Yay!
Big 2.0.
Big 2.0. Haven't changed the goddamn thing, but it's 2.0.
Except for the beverage.
Not really.
Oh, no, me.
Oh, you. Yeah, not a sponsor, Dunkin' Donuts. Again.
Not a sponsor.
Whatever beer you're drinking.
Yep.
That's right, because you had Knob Creek last time.
So what's on the docket today?
Today, we got some big stuff coming out. Not really, but new movies coming out with Kevin Smith and Jason Mewes. Got some Reboot, Jay and Silent Bob Reboot, sequel to Jay and Silent Strike Back's coming out this week. They've been making the rounds, doing interview after interview. And guess what? We got Kevin Smith here today.
Oh, yeah? Are you sure? Because I thought we had Sean Evans. I thought I had Sean Evans in the trunk.
I feel like he's like the candy man. You just call out Kevin Smith 3 times. He shows up wherever you need him. If he wants to be on a podcast, he'll show up to it.
And he just silently murders you.
Listen, man, I'm good with that. Gotta hang out with Kevin Smith while he kills you.
Grinds you up and rolls you into a blunt.
But yeah, man, I mean, he came out, he got everyone back for the movie, which looks friggin' awesome. The trailer looks great. He, so far it's teeing up to be a good movie. He's been doing a lot of press about it recently. He's been on like everybody's show. Been seeing him all over the place. And yeah, he's got even Ben Affleck came back, which if anyone's seen the trailer, you know, that was a big surprise. No one really thought. He kind of kept that under wraps, which is weird for him because he blabs his mouth about everything. He's the worst person to.
Are you talking about Affleck or Smith?
Smith. You can't trust that man with any information. But so far it's teeing up.
Didn't they have a beef, or they kind of had a falling out?
It was, I don't know.
Because I know he got the endorsement for Batman. He was like, Batfleck all the way.
Yeah.
And then after that, it seemed like
I
don't know. I didn't pay attention.
So from the rumors that came out, and he's never confirmed any of them, was that the issue was Jennifer Garner. That Jennifer Garner didn't like Smith, thought he was a bad influence on him, and they kind of just stopped being friends, and they kind of fell apart from there. Now with him being on the junkets and doing all these different, you know, talk shows and podcasts and stuff, because everyone's asking him like, oh, you know, how you and Ben get, you know, reunite, blah blah blah. Even though like he came out and talked about the story like when it happened, when the trailer launched, but he basically just said they kind of just haven't talked and that was it. And like it was kind of a weird thing, and he just, you know, he just didn't reach out to him. So I'm assuming there's probably some credence to the him and like not getting along with Jennifer Garner thing.
Yeah, I probably wouldn't get along with her either. She does not strike me as a But I could be wrong. She could be the most fun-loving, happy-go-lucky gal out there.
I mean,
with her credit card commercials,
all those Capital One commercials.
Yeah, she must be rolling in the miles.
Yeah, you know it. I don't know. I mean, I guess I don't know. Obviously, neither of us know her personally.
No.
So I have no idea what her relationship with Kevin was. He's never really commented about it. I know there was some like weird tension. He did. Jon Favreau used to have a show called Party of Five, I think it was called, or Dinner for Five.
Yeah, definitely
not Party of Five. It was called, I think it was called Dinner for Five, and it would be Favreau, and he would get like 5 different guests, and they would just sit at a restaurant and eat dinner and bullshit basically. And they had one episode where it was him, Affleck, Jennifer Gardner, and someone else. I think it was 1 or 2 other people, and there was some like weird tension there with some of the comments that Smith made about Affleck. Like they were just telling like jokey stories or something, and she didn't really like what. I think it was like right before they were dating or right when they started dating or something. I feel like era. Yeah, it was around that time. So I'm not sure if like that's kind of what set it off or didn't set it off. I don't really know. I think it was after Daredevil though, because I think that show. Yeah, that show was much later than that movie, I believe. But I don't know. There is some like if you go back and watch that episode, it gets a little awkward at one point in it. So I'm like, I can kind of see some credence to that being an issue. But I'm glad they're back together. I mean, you know, Ben Affleck and Kevin Smith have been, you know, look, aside from Good Will Hunting, like, you know, Chasing Amy kind of made Ben Affleck a big star. You know,
I thought it was that time he got uncomfortable in the back of a Volkswagen.
No, he makes girls uncomfortable in the back of a Volkswagen.
yeah, that's what I'm talking about. When Kevin Smith made Ben Affleck uncomfortable in the back of a... that's how they came up with the idea.
That definitely could have been it. 100%. Absolutely. But yeah, he also came out. What was it? He made some comments on Scorsese and the Marvel movies. About Jesus being the first superhero movie, whatever.
Willem Dafoe was the star of that.
Yeah, I believe Willem Dafoe played Jesus in that movie.
I've never seen that movie.
I haven't either.
I have no interest in seeing that movie though. But
honestly, I don't think I've ever seen. I've seen like a few Scorsese movies, but I haven't seen many of them.
I'm sure if you look it up. The amount of movies, I mean, you got The Departed.
Yeah, I've seen The Departed.
He did a bunch of
Goodfellas.
Leonardo DiCaprio movies.
Yeah,
basically.
yeah.
Like Taxi Driver.
I don't think I've seen Taxi Driver in its full. To be honest with you,
that's a weird one.
Yeah, I know. I've seen like bits and pieces, but I've never like seen it in full.
Off topic of Scorsese, real quick.
Sure.
This is just a snippet because we were talking about Mallrats just now.
Sure.
That was probably one of the best scenes in Captain Marvel. Was when Stan Lee's cameo is reading the
Mallrats script. Yeah, he talks about that. Yeah, and they actually had to take some of the footage because they didn't have enough of Stan practicing the line, so they actually took some of the outtakes from Mallrats. Yeah, they went and had to get the rights and everything and let him use the information, use the sound clips for it because they just did. I guess when they filmed it, it was kind of towards Stan's. You know, last couple days, and or not last day, couple days, but last few months, and he just wasn't really able to do what he did. Which that's an upsetting thing too, because with this movie, he did have a whole, I guess, like a big portion of the movie initially had Stan Lee in it. Like in Reboot, he had come out and said like, yeah, we wrote a whole big portion of this movie with him in mind, and having him kind of be a main like not a main, but a supporting character in the movie, and like. Having it where I guess like the villains of the movie are going after Stan Lee and like in the third act and all this stuff, so like it was supposed to be like a big thing, but they obviously they didn't get to film any of it.
That would have been fantastic,
right? Like, but I guess they said like they do like a couple different homages to him within the movie, and then like I guess in the Brody books,
trailer.
Yeah, there's like
the trailer that we're gonna watch with Brody. Yeah, there's a picture of him on the wall.
Yeah, I guess there's more of like there's a full like shrine in the store that they made up.
I think I saw that in one of the trailers actually.
Yeah,
one of the teasers, I should say.
It might have been. I haven't seen all of them. But I mean, the movie looks fantastic so far. Like, I'm super excited with all the cameos that he's gotten in, and
Jason Biggs and
oh yeah, he got everyone. He pulled. I mean, he got Chris Hemsworth. He got everybody in that movie. Like it I think it's gearing up to be a great. And the amount of press he's doing for it, and like how big it so far has been. I mean, they were on Colbert a couple weeks ago. He's also got a star in the Walk of Fame. Him and Jason Mewes, they're getting a star and doing the foot handprints, which I think it's long overdue and long deserved for him, because I think he's my favorite director. I think I've seen every single one of his movies. He's fantastic. Little known fact too is that I found out recently, Jersey Girl. If I looked at the IMDb correct, I'm pretty sure it's the last live action performance of George Carlin.
Is it?
After he
that came out after Dogma?
Yeah.
Okay, that makes sense. Then yeah, it could have been around there.
It was he did, from when I looked up on his IMDb page, he had done a couple voice acting roles. But after Jersey Girl, he didn't do anything else aside from that, which I was kind of shocked that he hadn't done any live action stuff. But let me just double check that. George Carlin. Let me double check that right now. Come on. Yeah, the last thing I'm seeing, aside from Thomas the Tank Engine stuff, yeah, Jersey Girl was his last.
He did Thomas the Tank Engine stuff?
Yeah, he was so he got a start. Was
really?
On Thomas the Tank Engine. I think he was the post office guy or whatever. He was on Thomas the Tank Engine for years and years and years. But he was just doing voice acting stuff after Jersey Girl, which I was kind of shocked. I was like, wow, he really has the last live performance that we've ever seen of George Carlin in a movie. Just kind of, I was like, oh, that's kind of cool. It's kind of for him, supposedly he loved that movie. A lot of people hate that movie. It's kind of like, Sean Connery's last performance is in The League of Extraordinary Men. And it's like, really, that's what you want to go out on? But, I love Jersey Girl. I think it's a fantastic movie. I think it's underrated, and people give it a lot of shit.
Is that really Sean Connery's last performance?
Yeah, Sean Connery's last live performance. He's done voice work for a couple things, but his last in a movie being
20
filmed,
plus years ago.
Yep. Was League of Extraordinary Gentlemen. That was the last time we've seen him on screen.
I feel like that's not true, but who am I to say? I'd have to look it up. But
100%.
I feel like I've seen him in other things, but I clearly haven't.
Yeah,
I guess.
Yeah, that's what when the George Carlin thing got brought up, because that was another guy. Like, we're not obviously getting George Carlin in Reboot, even though he's been in a couple of Kevin Smith movies. Obviously, he's dead, so we're not going to get him. And I was like, I don't think there was a movie I've seen him in since Jersey Girl. And I double checked again right there. Yeah, he hasn't done it. He didn't do anything aside from some voice acting roles. He was in Cars as a voice actor. He did Thomas Tank Engine movies up until he died, and that was it. So I was like, that's kind of a cool thing to have Kevin Smith boast about. Not boast, but be like, oh,
yeah, weird thing to boast about.
But
me, I got the last performance.
That's kind of it's kind of cool. Like, hey, I was the last person to work with him in a movie setting. I don't know. I feel like that's a kind of cool thing to have, cool memory to have. Being,
I would agree.
Nothing
wrong with that.
But yeah, so they actually wound up sending out a clip of the new Jay and Silent Bob reboot. He's been showing out a couple clips and throwing them up on YouTube.
This one's exclusive to us. This is
yes, exclusive to us
because he's coming down later.
Oh yeah, he's coming down. He's coming down later.
Oh, excellent! Can't wait to talk about it.
Coming down. Maybe this podcast will get him to show up. Who knows? Yeah, but we can fucking watch it right now. It's a pretty good clip. It's basically, if anyone who hasn't seen the trailers or heard about the movie, basically what Kevin Smith did was he wanted to see if he could make the same movie twice, and he did. He took Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back and turned it into a movie of, instead of Jay and Silent Bob trying to stop a movie about themselves being made, they're trying to stop a reboot of a movie of themselves trying to be made. But yeah, they got a clip that he put out. We can watch it and fucking see what we think and whatnot. What's going on? Cool. Gotta turn this all back. Setting up this clip. It is basically the same scene from, or a portion of the scene from the first movie, redone, of where they go into Brody's secret stash, and he explains to them. Initially, it was about the internet. No, he doesn't explain it to him about the internet. He explains to him about the movie.
Yeah, movie poop shoot.
That was Ben Affleck's scene.
Yeah.
So they kind of rolled that scene into Brody's scene instead of redoing it, because I think at that point they didn't know if Ben Affleck was coming down. But yeah, take a watch of this clip. So for me, if that's what we can expect from this movie, I am all in. Like, I absolutely... the one thing that's weird is his voice has changed. I don't know if he was just
not
sick.
As raspy.
I don't know if he was just sick this day or something. Because when I first watched it, I was like, that sounds almost like an overdub of his voice, and it's like almost a caricature of Jason Lee. But I'm sure he was just whatever.
Or he's just getting older.
That's true. But I can't.
The last thing I saw him in was he
probably Alvin and the Chipmunks movie.
Well, besides that, even though, but I mean, he had that cop show on like TNT where he was like a cop in Louisiana, and a DJ Quails was in it too as like a police officer. He was a detective. But
what show was that?
It was a little interesting. And by interesting, I mean not that great, but I watched it just because Jason Lee was in it.
Yeah, I find there's a bunch of movies that with him that I'll watch just because he's in it. Like, because he's entertaining and he's a good actor. Like, he's fun, especially when he does comedy roles and stuff like that. He
did that movie with Tom Green.
What movie with Tom Green did he do?
Where they, not Slackers, but where he was getting married and the girlfriend's father hated him and they had to go steal from a bank or something. I don't know.
Was it
was a movie.
The Harvard movie?
Stealing Harvard?
Yeah. Was that it?
Yeah.
I don't think I ever watched that movie. Are you sure that was Jason Lee? You don't need to. I feel like that was Tom Hanks's kid.
No,
that's Orange County. That's right. But yeah, man, I'm super stoked for this movie. I can't wait. I told you I was trying to get to see it on, because it's coming out. They're doing 2 Fathom events, one this Tuesday on the 15th, and then again on the 17th. The 15th one, they're giving out like stuff with it, but the 17th, they're doing a double feature of Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back and Reboot. So I'm probably gonna go to that one since I can't go on Tuesday, because I gotta go talk about my problems in therapy, so can't miss that. And then hopefully they're doing their road show, and I was telling you I definitely want to try to get tickets. I mean, they're all sold out for the Jersey ones for this, because I think they're starting that this month, and they're starting it out in Jersey on the 19th, but they're all sold out. There's a couple of them in New York that are happening like February. I was trying to get there was ones in Philly that are happening in November, but they're sold out too. It says they're not sold out, but when you go on the Places page, it says they're sold out, which was like, I was like, God damn it! I would have driven an hour and a half to go down there. They're all like during the week, which is kind of shitty. Like, I have to,
because work and everything.
Yeah,
but I mean, honestly, to go during the week would be a better time to go, though, just because. Well, for these types of events, it doesn't matter. It's going to be full no matter what.
Yeah.
But it's like going to the movies. I'd rather go on a weekday in the afternoon than Friday night when all the tweens and teens are out there.
Yeah. That's very true.
I'm just basically a grumpy old man. I can't wait to have a front porch that I can sit on, yell at children, steal their toys when they come into the yard, throw them on my roof, because I know that I'll never get them down either.
Why do you want to be that guy? I found myself turning into that guy, and I was like, nah, I don't want to be that. I was like, I don't.
Give me a reason not to.
Like, when I was upstairs, living in the upstairs, I was like, I would hear like across the street kids them doing stuff because I live in the development. There's a bunch of younger kids in here, a bunch of like 17, 18-year-olds. They're all yelling at night during the summer, and I got to the point where I was just like, I was ready to start yelling out my window, and I'm like, no, I can't do this. This was like a few years ago. I'm like, nah, I'm not that old to be able to do that.
Yet, but during the day and it's younger children, it's okay to be angry.
Right. Very true.
Get off my yard. I'm trying to watch Jay and Silent Bob Reboot. Fucking hooligans. Tell your mom I said hi.
Another weird thing about it is too with his movies is like I guess all the younger people are starting to revisit Chasing Amy, and that movie now has become a problematic movie.
Oh yes, I watched it recently.
Yeah, what'd you think?
I mean, I've always liked the movie, but watching it now, I'm like, problems. Or really not so much problems, if you will, but people have this really annoying thing that they like to do and share their opinions. Much like we're doing right now, but theirs are usually
wrong,
just obnoxious.
Well, like it was funny because once everyone started doing this, like, oh, this is now problematic, and we can't, like, oh, look how like poorly whatever. When they started doing it with Friends and all the in The Office and like all these other things, way back before they started doing this, I was like, when are they gonna hit Chasing Amy?
I mean, it really doesn't matter. It's a product of a different time.
Well, that's what like Kevin was talking. Like,
you can't go yell at someone for making a movie about the culture of the time that they made the movie.
Like, and that's what a lot of these woke fucking people don't get. Like, you can't, like, yeah, it's a different time, it's a different era, it's a different style of comedy. But even like, I remember watching An Evening with Kevin Smith, the first one he ever did, and someone actually asked him about Chasing Amy. It was this lesbian girl who at the Q&A was just like, oh, well, don't you think it's an issue when you're saying like all a lesbian needs is one good dick? And his response was, listen, like, that's the idiot character of the movie. Yeah. Like, you're not supposed to agree with him. You're supposed to go like, yeah, you're a fucking moron, Jason Lee. Like, Brody is not Brody, Banky.
Not supposed to be someone that you like.
Yeah, he's not supposed to be the smart one. He's supposed to be an idiot.
Gay in the end also.
Yeah. But, like, it's not, like, that's the whole point of his character is he's supposed to be an idiot, and he's supposed to be out of touch with the times. And, like, the whole, like, and he explained it recently because someone did ask him about it, and it was this woman. She was like, yeah, like, now they're saying your movie is problematic. He goes, listen, he goes, like that movie, like, reignited my career, and, like, it's a super important and powerful movie for me. And he goes, like, and the fact of the matter is, like, I get why people think it's problematic, but one, it's of its time. It's about people in the 90s specifically, and on top of that, like, yeah, you're watching it from Ben Affleck's point of view. Like, the movie is set from his point of view for the most part, but, like, by the end of the movie, you're not rooting for Ben Affleck. You're rooting for Joey. Like, you're rooting for whatever her character's name is in that. But, like, you realize by the end, like, she's the person, she's in the right here, and, like, she's the one, like, he's a fucking moron, and he's an idiot, like, for even going through this, and, like, that was the point of the movie. It's, like, this whole addressing of, like, being jealous of someone else's past and like not being able to get past that. So it's like even like Holden's character, like you're not supposed to
Holden fucking McNeil.
Holden McNeil. Like you're not supposed to be at the end of it. You're supposed to be going like, oh yeah, he's completely wrong. Like he took all of this way out of what it should have been. Like he should just be moving on and realizing that everyone has a past and like that's okay.
So you don't think at the end of the movie that we should be rooting for Holden?
Well, I think
come on, Holden.
Well, I think at the very end when he's at the con and all that kind of stuff, it's supposed to be like, oh, you're supposed to get this like
clarity comes with time.
Exactly. Like he can he realized
understanding and being able to move on and see the perspective from someone else.
Right. And he couldn't see it in the time. And, 6 months later, or
you never see it when you're in it.
Exactly. You don't see what you're doing is wrong while you're in
it's
it.
like being in the eye of the storm. Everything looks calm.
Exactly. Like, I look back at my own relationships and I go, these things were great. No, I was in the right when blah, blah, blah. And it's like, well, maybe I wasn't, or maybe it wasn't as great as I thought it was going to be, or was, or how I'm remembering it. Like, it's that kind of thing, especially at the book end of the movie when they get past the whole weird scene where he wants to have a 3-way whatever. But like, I don't know. I think it's not as problematic as people are making. I don't think it's problematic. I think still it holds up.
I can see where people are gonna be,
and even
having some
even when
opinions.
Kevin was talking about it recently, he's like, listen. Even when he was talking about it recently, he was like, listen. He goes like, he wasn't apologizing for it. He's like, and he wasn't even apologizing for the content. He's like, the language, like, yeah, okay, fine. Like, we used, faggot and this and that, and like all these words that like you're not really allowed.
At the time, were allowed to.
Yeah, that was acceptable at the time. It's not acceptable now, but you can't.
I mean, that word is in a lot of movies.
Oh yeah,
from 100%. The 90s.
Oh, absolutely.
Without a thought to it, just boom, there it is.
Not at. I mean, no thought whatsoever, and like that's what it was back then. And it's like you can't retroactively fault
that word was
people.
often used in the 80s too. So
absolutely.
Yeah, you're not going to go back. I mean, I'm sure you could look back at a John Hughes movie like Pretty in Pink.
They already do.
And be like, what a fucking scumbag. And it's like,
yeah, they look at that. They're like, oh, promotes date rape and this. It's like, listen, dude, it's fucking. It's gag humor jokes like. That it's 80s humor. Like, it's not promoting fucking this. It's not promoting that. It's a stupid, well, rape is never funny. Really? To you. Like, anytime anyone tries to say that shit, I'm just like, yeah, to you. To me, it's fucking hilarious. Like, it's just that... I don't know. I don't think humor or comedy or anything should have any bounds, and I don't think storytelling should have any bounds.
No, if you're going to tell a story of how, even if you're just going to tell a story of how something happened, like if I went to the store today and something happened to me, I'm not, and if I hold out on those details of what happened, because if it comes out of my mouth, it's not going to be politically correct, is to deny what actually happened.
Exactly.
So if I were telling that story and that offended someone, that's your fucking problem because it happened to me. So whether or not, like, I could have gotten mugged, I could have tripped and landed in some gum, and when I got up, I had some shit on my eye and someone was screaming profanities at me. It doesn't matter what happened.
Right.
I mean, nothing happened, but if it did, it's my story to tell because it happened to me.
Right.
And you can't dictate how I perceive that story, how it happened, or the facts.
Yeah. Or even just normal storytelling, like when it comes to like, listen, there's off-color humor. Like, you look at Anthony Jeselnik, like, he says some horrible things, but it's hilarious. I mean, he had a 15-minute story about taking his friend to the abortion clinic, and it's one of the funniest things I've ever seen.
Figuring out what the perfect gift is,
right? Like, I don't like.
Well, it's not flowers.
Like those kinds of things.
You gotta take care of flowers.
Like, I'm kind of, I just. It was funny because I was waiting for that ball to drop on Kevin Smith again with that, and it finally did. And I kind of suspected, like, since with this new movie coming out, like, yeah, they're gonna start looking back at some of his other movies and do this and that and say things about it, specifically Chasing Amy, because it's about a lesbian character or a bisexual character, whatever you want to call her. I guess she's technically a bisexual character in the movie. And I guess it finally is, and a lot of people are, and I'm kind of glad that he's just defending it and not going like, listen, it's
it's not apologizing for it.
Not really
Someone recently, I forget who, apologized for something. I don't know. I shouldn't have brought it up because I can't remember it. You're not obviously knowing what I'm talking about.
No,
but it was something comedy related, movie wise or TV show wise or something. I don't remember, but it was like, really, why'd you apologize? But I don't know. Maybe that's something for next week. I'll research.
We'll figure it out. I mean, I don't know. Like, I don't like when people there's a difference if you're apologizing because the intention of it was ill. Like, if you're making a joke or you're writing a story specifically for a purpose and you're like, listen, like, I was, I made this in bad judgment and like purposefully trying to offend someone in the wrong kind of way, that's a different story.
You're apologizing to someone.
Yeah.
Not to everyone.
That's a different story. But when you're apologizing for a joke you made or a movie that you made or this or that, stand by your art. Like, that's why I like that, like, when all that stuff that James Gunn came out and they kicked him off Guardians, and he's just like, listen, like, I've already apologized for this stuff. What?
Yeah, I heard, like when a bee or something is flapping its wing, and you can hear it like hitting a wall, yeah.
Oh, I don't know. Like, when James Gunn apologized, he didn't really even apologize, but like when all his old tweets came out and all this stuff, and he's like, listen, guys, like, I've already apologized for this once. It's probably this.
Yeah, I was gonna say, you're playing with cellophane in your fucking pocket, you asshole.
When he came out with all the stuff with Guardians, and they which is funny because that specific situation was legitimately people pissed off about Roseanne getting fired. It came out like that was like a specific thing. Like, they were mad that everyone got on Roseanne Barr's shit, and all these conservatives were like, "What about James Gunn? What about all these tweets?" Like, it was specific and purposely just to do that to Disney. But he's like, "Listen, man. Like, yeah, they were offensive jokes. I've apologized for them in the past because I did them, and I wasn't this. Like, they were objectively not funny and offensive, and like I've done charity work with these people afterwards and like all this stuff." He's like, I'm not going to apologize for him again. Like, it's just ridiculous. Or the Kevin Hart thing where he's like, listen, I've already apologized for these jokes. I've already went to the, all the LGBTQ communities and this and that and apologized for these stupid jokes that I was when I was a young comedian, blah, 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 because I felt bad about it. My views have changed and I feel bad. Like, that's one thing. And then he came back and was like, listen, with the Oscars, like, I'm not going to apologize again. Like, it's like, there's no reason for it. Like, I like when people stick to their grounds with some of these things.
You mean you have to. You can't just go out and apologize all the time for everything, and that's what we're turning into.
Yeah.
Like, I'm waiting for the day that it's gonna happen. The movie Paul, the Alien movie with Simon Pegg and Seth Rogen and Nick Frost.
Yeah.
Someone's gonna get offended by the alien being like, or doing like the Jesus Christ thing with her eye, or just being naked whenever he turns invisible. Like, yeah, there's gonna be like, this offended me, and then someone's gonna have to come out and be like, my character Paul was an alien. This was not my, like, Seth Rogen.
Yeah,
like, this is not my opinion. It was a character in a movie that is fictional.
Like, I feel like we've forgotten that movies aren't real.
Like, they can be based off of real things, but ultimately,
and like, not every movie has
and even a movie that's based on true stories and true events is not 100% what happened.
But
either.
like, even like, not every movie has a message, and it's not purposely putting a message out. Like, that's what people think, and that's what people are starting like. And like, people get the message wrong. Like, in this case of Kevin Smith, like, this movie, everyone's harping on him for, or people have been harping on him for the LGBTQ themes and all this stuff, and Joey Lawrence and Ben Affleck and how their characters act.
Joey Lawrence.
Or not Joey Lawrence.
It's like, whoa.
Joey. The chick.
Her name.
Yeah, I don't remember her last name.
She's got that really.
Yeah, kind
of voice.
Kind of looks like Renee Zellweger.
Yeah. But they both look similar and have annoying voices.
They have almost the identical voice.
But I'd rather
Empire Records.
Yeah, I'd rather
that's Renee Zellweger. Never mind. I can't. I can't.
Perfect body. You'll never be like me. No, that's American Beauty.
Oh, God. What is wrong with us? But like, and it's like, you guys are missing the point of the movie completely because because of the language in the movie. Like, and that's what Kevin was saying. He goes, "Yeah, the language is shitty." I'm sorry,
the language in the movie, isn't that why they have ratings? This movie is rated R for mature language, sexual scenarios,
but it's unwoke mature language. So
so we gotta have a new rating now. We'll have a UW unwoke opinions.
That's exactly what we're getting to. I was thinking about this earlier today, and
you may be 18, but you're not old enough to see this movie because you are too dumb.
I was thinking about this earlier, and it completely off topic and a bit political, but I find it hilarious that we are like all this China shit, and like China's fucking horrible. Fuck Chinese government, but like all the stuff about China is having this social point system that'll affect whether or not you can get jobs and like where you can live and your interest rates and all that kind of stuff. And it's all based on like people spying on each other and, you know, social points and stuff like that. And I find it hilarious that people are getting mad about that. And then I'm just like,
we've made countless movies
Twitter? Like, we do that in America right now. Like, if you don't virtue signal, you're canceled. Like, you're canceled if you say the wrong thing. Like, how is what China's doing any different than what the fuck we do here? Like, it makes it's ridiculous. Anyway,
it doesn't,
except for all the other shit, but like,
it's not getting you kicked out of your house here, though.
We're getting to that point. I mean, like,
not yet, though.
People lose their fucking jobs and their livelihood over stupid shit that they say. James Gunn, like, you know what I mean?
Stupid
like,
shit that you say, if it's current and relevant, you should be able to lose your job for that.
Not for shit you have said. Not for fucking.
I'm saying for shit in the past, but like if we were right now,
right,
sitting here actively talking shit about the company we work for.
That's a different story.
That's a different story.
But me saying something about
it. If I posted it on the internet as a fucking idiot, then I would deserve to lose my job.
But what I'm talking about is like,
I know what you're talking about.
He said some shitty thing about this person, or this person didn't say something about that, or didn't do that, or he didn't put enough minorities in his movie, and we should boycott the movie. Like,
this person is only given negative Yelp reviews for restaurants. They don't deserve to live in our neighborhood anymore.
Well, I mean, those people don't deserve to live anywhere.
That's China, though. That's what you're saying.
But that's,
people are voting on them and saying, you don't have enough likes. There was a whole actual movie based about that recently. It might have been on...
it was the Justin Timberlake movie.
No. That was the Time one. It might have been... I think it was actually on Black Mirror, an episode where, depending on how many likes you got, it gave your social status. Like, you could lose your job if you went under so many likes.
Well, that's what they're doing in China.
Yeah,
or supposedly rolling out in China.
But that was my point. Is we've made countless movies, episodes, TV shows about things like this. We cannot be surprised that it actually happens.
I know, and it's like we're living in a culture that like all these people have created, where, if you're not woke enough, you could literally lose your job because people have lost their jobs because they posted something. I mean, I think Andy Signor is doing a whole thing about, like, it's called Hugging the Cactus, and he was he's talking to this woman in Canada because Canada's getting really bad with it, where she was a politician and some emails came out and they were talking about something, and the emails that came out were out of context emails about some of the stuff, and they're like, well, she's just a racist person and blah, blah, blah. And she's like, well, no, but all the damage was done. Lost her fucking job. She got kicked out of whatever thing she was. Like, he's putting the video out soon, which I'm hoping to actually find out more about the story, but like, lost her livelihood for out of context emails. Like, we live in that culture already, and I just find it incredibly hypocritical that we're,
it's also very frightening.
Yelling at it's incredibly frightening. I fear it every day.
So do I.
Every day. Anyway, back to the other shit that we're talking about.
Is it
off topic tangents?
I mean, the world is turning. We have so many different things going on in this world and other worlds. So often so that we might have a crisis on Infinite Earths on our hands.
Oh my God.
Oh, what a segue.
What a segue. Oh, man.
So Kevin Smith got his time, all right?
He got his time. He didn't show up.
Yeah, I gave him... Who knows how long.
Who knows how long we've been talking about him. He didn't show up. Oh.
That's it. Bring out Sean. we got
his arch nemesis.
Yeah. Sean Evans from Hot Ones.
Anyway,
we love you too, Sean Evans.
Even though you were wrong about the Kevin Smith thing. But anyway, so as you were talking about, Crisis on Infinite Earths is coming up. They've started the new CW season for all their shows. I have not watched that one yet. I have watched the first episode of Flash.
I have not.
Very interesting what they're going to be doing. So from what it seems like, there were some teasers at the end for the Crisis. They had the Monitor come in the very last scene, where they revealed to them that, oh, by the way, the Crisis is happening now, not in 10 years, because they're still under the assumption that it was happening in whatever 2024 or 2025 or whatever it is. So at the tail end, we got that. First episode was pretty good so far this season. I mean, it's the first episode, so it's not like too big. I still have to finish watching Supergirl and Arrow before I start the new seasons on those. And I have to watch the Batwoman show still.
Yeah, I'll probably watch that tonight, I guess. But I mean, I'm not even that interested in all the individual shows right now as I am the crossover event.
Yeah.
And I have a feeling that just like the last crossover event, well, maybe not that one, but maybe the one before that, the individual shows had nothing to do with the event. So you could literally have watched just the event and then go back to watching the show, which is what they did. But you don't have to watch the whole series for the event to make sense.
Yeah.
They did that originally in the few first events that it intertwined, but then it just became kind of like, on the last one, it was just like, boom, this thing happens in the middle, and then it ends, and then...
So I think they're taking a different toll with it this time. Because one big thing is the Flash is such a big portion of the event, and it seems like they're kind of... wrapping the season around the event in general.
Get one more event that the Flash is the headliner for.
I mean, what other event has there been that the Flash has been the main focus of?
Well, maybe not like the crossover events, but just in general, how many times has the Flash been in trouble for changing history, changing time, creating new paradoxes, new worlds?
The interesting thing is he next episode. And it doesn't really spoil anything, but he's going to be going to the future one day after the event to see what the hell's going on. That was the teaser for next episode. So he's going to be going into the future. They teased something about him going into the past to stop something, and he's just like, no, I'm not doing that again, blah, 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 blah. And it was like, oh, just go back a day. And he's like, I'm not doing that.
I mean, it's spoilers for anyone who hasn't seen it, and you didn't finish it either the last season, right?
Of which
Flash?
one? Flash, yeah, I saw the last season of Flash.
So anyone who didn't fucking watch it,
which
Podesta probably hasn't seen it, but
fuck you, Podesta, if you haven't.
I mean,
love you, buddy.
His daughter dies.
Yes,
or doesn't necessarily die. She ceases to exist. Well, she never began.
Yeah,
but he's saying at that point, I'm not changing this.
Yeah,
I've learned.
He learned his lesson.
My lesson. Yeah. So, if he does it again, though, I'm going to be so fucking angry.
The funny part about it is, the funny part about it is, so, like, we know the Flash disappears. They didn't know.
He does?
Yeah.
Since when?
What do you mean? Well, I mean, in the event.
What?
Fuck you.
I thought it was just the main focus of every episode of The Flash since the show came out.
Fuck you.
Gideon, what's my timeline look like today?
Shush.
Oh, wait. Are we never going to talk about how Barry Allen invented Gideon?
Yeah, right?
And it's on the time machine?
About this? Like, yeah. When does he do that? Anyway, so we know he disappears.
The legends are using Gideon.
So, like, but in the show, obviously, they didn't know that the timeline had been moved up. Like, we know that at the end of the last season, that the timeline goes from 2024, 2034, whatever it is, back down to, this year, 2019. So it's interesting because the whole first episode of the new season, it's like they're dealing with Nora's. It's months later. They're dealing with Nora's death, and they're under the assumption of, well, like, yeah, it's shitty, but, like, we will see her again because we're going to, it may not be the same Nora, but, like, we're going to have her again because we're going to have her as a kid. And then at the very end, they're like, oh, so we're not going to get Nora. Like, they didn't even, like, it dawns on them that all the stuff that had happened, the reason why Nora disappears is because Barry disappears in 6 months or whatever it is, and he never has Nora, and they won't ever see Nora again, which is going to be kind of interesting for how they go with the season, because it seems like this season they are kind of, or at least the first episode or the first few episodes, they're kind of dealing with the fact that Nora's gone. Like the whole first episode is based on it, and they kind of get to this place of, yeah, Nora's going to be okay. Like, we'll be okay. We'll get through this because we're going to see her again and that kind of stuff. And no, you're not. Which I don't know. I'm going to be surprised if, like, I'm curious as to what they're going to do. And I watched an Easter egg video where they're talking about how, like, oh, well, the Flash has to die. But they just say, in the whole context of it, they don't say the Flash has to die. I think at the very end they go, a Flash has to die. So I'm curious if that will be Barry Allen, or they're gonna just kill off an Otherworld Flash or something like that.
Like how Jay Garrett already died.
No, he's alive.
I thought they killed him off last season. They
killed off the Flash from the 90s Flash show.
Okay.
He shows up in the last in the other crossover, and he shows up trying to like plead with the Monitor, and the Monitor kills him.
Yeah.
So Jay Garrick is still alive, but the 90s Flash is not alive, as far as we know.
That was awesome.
Yeah, that was really cool to see him back
in the suit.
Yeah, to see him, even if it was only for like 30 seconds or whatever it was, like just to see him back in the suit was like, all right, that's really cool to see him back in his 90s suit. The fact that they still had the 90s suit to be able to put him in.
I'm sure they had to remake it though, because of those suits don't hold up.
No, yeah.
Like there are special people whose only job it is to maintain those suits. When something starts degrading, they have to pull it out and remake it.
Yeah, they have that. I watched the whole thing on the Batman stuff where they went, they're like every couple years they come back and
they showed all these suits, and I was like, I have not seen that many suits on screen before. Why do you have so many?
Yeah.
You know, well, we know why, because set designs and costume designs and stuff change and everything, but I was like, gosh dang it, it's a lot of suits.
Yeah, they keep a lot of them over there in Warner Bros., which I'm glad they do, so they can keep showing them off.
You know, this just came to me, but the ultimate, because I know we have a lot of like potential, not spoilers, but so many Easter eggs and so many guest spot appearances going back to the Bruce Wayne newspaper. So 1993 or whatever Batman.
89 Batman.
Yeah, 89 Batman, not 93. 89 Batman. That Bruce Wayne is in this universe.
Yes, he is. We
have so many cameos. I think and Kevin Smith will back me up on this one, I think.
Okay.
If Nicolas Cage shows up as Superman, would be the greatest thing in the entire world.
Like, what else is he doing? Like, why not?
He's probably writing a new Ghost Rider movie.
He needs the money. He's got to pay back taxes.
No, he doesn't. You know how many movies he puts out a year?
That's why. Because he has to fucking pay back taxes. Like, get him in there. I'm sure he'll take the $500. Like, I mean, like, why not get Nick Cage?
Long hair.
Oh, that would be
LED lit suit.
Brilliant. That would be so good. Yeah, so speaking about that, they did have a clip, I guess, in the Batwoman show, or one of the shows. They showed a paper of Gotham City CEO, and it was a picture of Michael Keaton. So we're confirming that Batman is part of on one of the Earths, not necessarily Earth 1. He might be, he may not be. He also might be part of the Birds of Prey Earth, which they said that they're the Huntress from Birds of Prey, whoever, I forget what her name was. She's coming back. She's going to be a cameo in it, which would make sense if they put her.
I mean, it would make sense. They've used everyone from the show, like the '90s Flash show.
Yeah.
Not only did it have, the guy who played Barry Allen, but it had the sidekick, the lab partner. It had his girlfriend.
Yeah, it had a lot of people.
The WB's Arrowverse has done a very good job of bringing in actors and actresses from different eras that aren't even necessarily related. Like, they've had Smallville characters like Martha Kent. And I think Jonathan Kent was even on an episode somewhere in the whole series.
Yeah, I think Martha Kent was on Supergirl. Yeah.
They bring so many people in. I love it. I love the homage that they're paying. I guess.
Homage.
I mean, they might homage.
Whatever.
Know,
anyway,
I say things weird sometimes.
Sorry, I killed your train of thought.
Yeah. Now I'm stuck on Homeward Bound. And the brave little toaster. Because they're remaking what is it? The Nightmare Before Christmas. They're thinking about making it into a live action movie.
Yeah, whatever.
Come on, just give me a live action brave little toaster. That's all I want.
That would be weird. That'd be creepy.
And then they could make that in with an Iron Giant movie.
Yeah.
No, I'm just kidding.
But no, you're right. They have been doing a really good job of getting all those people back and putting them in the shows in different roles. So I'm really glad that they are doing that. And and this couple of videos I watched were like, yeah, obviously they're not getting Michael Keaton to come in. Like, Nick Cage, yeah, you could probably swing Nick Cage. Michael Keaton, no, he's kind of.
And I wouldn't want you either. I wouldn't want you. The next time I see Michael Keaton, no, I know, but I'd rather save it. I'd rather save Michael Keaton's appearance in another DC thing for Batman Beyond, him playing Old Man Bruce Wayne.
So that is one of the things is. So I've thought about this because one of the ideas is that possibly Kevin Conroy is going to be the animated universe Batman.
Mm-hmm. Which makes perfect sense because it's Kevin Conroy.
Because it's Kevin Conroy, and he might be playing they've shown a still of him because I think they showed a clip of his Batman in Batwoman maybe or something. They showed a small clip of him. Or maybe it's when he goes to the Future Flash, he meets up with the Kevin Conroy Batman. Maybe I don't remember what it was.
There's so much stuff going on.
There's so much shit going on, and everything's going on. Like everything's tied in. All these shows are so tied into this crossover event right now. I would love it if they brought Will Friedle in to play Terry McGinnis. Like, why not? Like, bring Will Friedle in and have him be Terry McGinnis, Batman Beyond.
I don't think that he could pull off the look, though.
He looks just like him.
Does he?
Enough.
If I'm thinking of who it is.
Eric from Boy Meets World.
Yeah. No, yeah. Yeah, I was thinking of his best friend in Boy Meets World.
Oh,
like the roommate, because he's done a lot of animated voice acting and stuff, too.
Yeah.
So when you said that, that's what I was thinking. But no, he looks just like Terry McGinnis.
Yeah, like, why not bring him in? Like, because everyone's, like, wondering, like, oh, well, if they're doing the Batman Beyond Batman with Kevin Conroy, why not have a Terry McGinnis character come in?
Does that mean that you want Neil Patrick Harris for the Spider-Verse to play Spider-Man?
I wouldn't mind that.
Yeah, me neither. That'd be awesome.
I'd be totally okay with that.
Just because they were voice actors, they automatically should be the...
I mean,
if they can do it, then they should do it.
Yeah, like, why not? Like, if you're doing all these
why
people...
are we holding these people from the TV shows? Not holding them, but we're preventing them from going further. And by we, I don't mean us. I mean the bigwigs.
Yeah.
Like, why can't we have Stephen Amell as the Green Arrow on the big screen?
Yeah, I don't know why they're not doing that. Like that was just dumb.
The character development that we've gone through and the emotional fucking baggage and from all these seasons and these shows, just turn it into a movie.
I agree with you. But
you already have a platform.
So here's the argument against it. And it's, I think, the same argument.
Use everyone.
Well, not even that. I think it's the same argument as to why, like, the Firefly movie didn't work. Serenity. Like, you're going to go into that movie and you have to watch everything.
Yeah.
Like, you have to know the characters. Like, that movie, the Breaking Bad sequel movie.
Yeah, it was awful.
I didn't watch it.
My girlfriend was watching it, and I didn't watch it because I never finished the last couple of episodes of Breaking Bad. Yeah. Because I just started to lose interest.
Right.
But I've heard everyone saying this movie was so fucking boring.
Well, I think that, but
it's just bad.
Like with that movie, like, and they've even said, like, specifically, like, if you didn't watch Breaking Bad,
you would have loved it.
You will not. No, they're saying like you're gonna have no idea what the hell's going on because it's so dependent on you watching Breaking Bad.
I don't
and
think
knowing
that it
Breaking
would
Bad.
though, because if they made a movie with just the actors, it doesn't have to follow the storyline of. I mean, it kind of does, but it doesn't. So there's an easy way for them to just make a movie, a Justice League movie starring all of these shows, just one giant, instead of doing an event like they do, it's 4 episodes long, which is a movie.
Yeah.
Make a fucking movie.
I agree.
And if that movie is not in the big screens, that's fine too.
I agree with you.
But make the movie. I mean, the worst thing about Arrow was flashbacks. They were cool in the beginning, but it went on for 5 seasons of flashbacks to the island.
Yeah.
I was like, can you just give me 3 full episodes of backline and then go back to the future?
Yeah.
Or
back to
the present.
I agree with you. In the beginning, I hated the flashbacks. I was really annoyed because it like diverts your story, like,
yeah, but it was so important to the story for each season to explain. But it was like, really, each season you can tie something back to his time on the island.
Yeah, like that was.
I was like, after the 5th season, they were like, well, he's been off the island for 5 years. It's been 5 years since he was on the island. Like, we don't have any more island stuff.
Yeah, I don't think they're doing the flashbacks anymore. Or they stopped doing the flash. No,
yeah, they were still
flash
doing forwards.
That's right. They were doing the flash forward. Yeah, that's right. They were doing all flash forwards. Oh, that's right.
To his kid and old Felicity.
Yeah, because even after the 5 years, they still did flashback. Because there's 8 seasons out. They're going on to season 9, or they're on season 8. So like, yeah, they started doing either flash forwards, and they did flashbacks for other characters. Like they still kept doing the flashback thing,
which is I'm okay with. But like, there was so much of it at one point that I was like,
just give me an episode of him on Lee and You. Like, or just give me a season of it then.
Yeah.
Like, maybe the first season, just have the first season be him on the island and him doing all this shit. Like, I get why they didn't do that, because I feel like that kind of would have been boring.
Yeah, it would have been boring. But at the same time, what they could have done instead of what they started doing when Arrow and the Flash, were starting up, was they did webisodes. They did little 2-4 minute episodes for certain things, but what they could have done was just did the whole episode and then put the flashback online.
Yeah, for a lot of those things.
Or like if they uploaded to, at the time, Hulu instead of the CW's app because they didn't have it or whatever when it started, they could have been, if you're a Hulu subscriber, you get to watch 2 episodes instead of just the one that's on air. And then it would have just been like, oh, well, here's the backstory now. Yeah. I mean, I understand cinematically why they do it. It's very important. It ties it in. It keeps your mind fresh.
Yeah, I think certain seasons of that show needed it, like the Slade season.
Oh, absolutely.
100%. That was very beneficial to. That's when I kind of started liking. I think that's season 3.
Yeah, I didn't really need the whole like when he's in China.
Yeah, like that whole flashback
like where
season.
Where he meets what's her name with the katana, with the souls in her sword.
Katana.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, her and her husband, who happens to be his friend though from the league.
Right. That was the whole Rachel Gould one. Yeah,
there are certain parts of it that I didn't need.
Yeah, that season definitely didn't need the flashbacks. The flashbacks to
they even brought Talia in to the last Arrow season, not just
yeah. She was in. Not even the season before she comes in.
Yeah,
she comes in.
It's always been her sister. In the show,
Nellie or Nelia or whatever the other one is. Yeah,
but then they brought her in, and I'm like, come on with the Batman stuff already.
Which is weird because that's not even a Batman character. That Nessa. Nissa. Yeah, she's a Tim Drake villain. Like, she's not even a Batman villain, which I was like, that's kind of weird that they're bringing her in for that. Like, because she was she was trying to seduce or whatever Tim Drake in the comics. Like, it's really weird. I agree with you. They started pulling too many Batman stuff and turning it into Arrow. That kind of got me mad about a lot of that show.
That's probably why you stopped watching for a while.
It got a little ridiculous. I mean, the show itself, I think what threw me off, was the nuclear bomb. When they had to stop a nuclear bomb, I was like,
the underground city, and
I was like, yeah, really? Like, okay, like this is kind of getting out of hand. And they brought it back with that the next season after with the whatever his name is, who's a crazy person, the DA who winds up being the bad guy. I think it's not last season, but the season before.
Yeah.
That season brought it back for me. But even like the last season, I kind of like. I feel like I'm watching Law and Order SVU. Like it was kind of like weird. That's kind of why I fell out of that last season. I still have to finish it.
There were definitely a few seasons, or at least half seasons of different seasons that I didn't like. There was so much Felicity drama, but I mean, even now we're getting a little off point of the crisis.
It's all good. It's all good. It's all good. So back to Crisis.
I'm excited for all the costumes.
Yeah, so we actually got...
Because that's one of the things that I've always hated about Marvel was the costumes. Like, they do really good with their costumes in the movies and stuff, but like when it came to X-Men, they didn't do justice to costumes. And we all know the yellow and blue was like a little out there, but then they brought it in and they didn't. And then like even with the Avengers though, their outfits, like everyone else other than Iron Man and Captain America and Thor, like they all have their own individual costumes from the cartoons and comics, like the Scarlet Witch, right, which you kind of got a little bit of that. It looked like it was inspired, but I like that DC just goes for it.
Yeah, and they came out with this picture up there of all the guys. I love that they're doing the Kingdom Come Superman with Brandon Routh. We got the next Harrison Wells coming in. He's going to be playing Pariah.
Okay, because it kind of looks like Lex Luthor's power suit.
So yeah, so he's confirmed as playing Pariah, which Pariah is a big character in the Crisis in the comics. Pariah is basically he's a scientist who got a little too cocky, wanted to see how the universe began, and set into motion the events of Crisis. He alerted the Anti-Monitor to the from in the antimatter universe to the positive matter universe, which would be their universe or our universe. So he's kind of like the catalyst for all of them. He's destined to die. Forget her name.
It's John's wife.
John's wife, Lila. She's playing. This is a different version of Lila. She's playing Harbinger, who Harbinger in the comics is. I guess you think are similar to like a Silver Surfer character. Like she's working for she's basically like the servant to the Monitor.
Okay.
She goes to the different worlds. She's trying to gather up all the different superheroes and stuff like that to try to save everybody. Pariah is more. He's destined to watch every world die. Basically, like he's cursed to watch what he's sown. So whenever he shows up, typically, a world's gonna end.
And that's what they say about the Watchers from Marvel too. Like if the Watchers show up, something very bad is going to happen.
Yeah, and that's
something very good. But how often does very good happen?
No, never. So that's what. So we're going to get a new Harrison Wells.
I love the guy they got to play Ralph Dibny. Is such
he's fantastic.
Good.
I love him,
Ralph.
And I don't know if like because like Ralph Dibny in the comics, he's like very smart. He's a detective, like. All that stuff. So I don't know if he's like a dummy in the comics, like weird like that. But the take they've given him is fantastic. And this season too is he's gonna meet Sue Dibny. He's gonna meet his wife in the season. Because in the first episode, like they don't know where Ralph is. He shows up like midway through the episode. Like, oh, he's been gone all summer, blah blah blah. And he comes back and he's like, oh, I'm trying to find the Sue blah 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 person. And he's like, oh, I don't know. Like I feel like I have to take this case and blah blah blah. And it's gonna be his wife, which is really cool. What else we got here? We got normal Barry Allen Flash. We got Iris. This guy, I don't remember what his name is. He's going to be taking over for Brandon Routh as the Ryan Choi Atom. So the successor to the Atom. They haven't shown his suit yet, but he's going to be taking over for Brandon Routh as the Atom, and he's going to be Ryan Choi.
Which means we get more Brandon Routh than we thought, because last episode we talked about how they were going to pull off.
Yeah, well, this is Brandon Routh's last.
Characters.
Yeah, this is his last season on the show completely. So we're not gonna be seeing Brandon Routh anymore.
So he's taking over on the show
completely. Yeah,
completely, not just for the event.
Not just for the event. He is going to at the end of the season of Legends. Brandon Routh is done. He's leaving the show, and he's taking over as the new Atom. Which is cool. Like, I mean, you know, Brandon Routh's been on. Been in this.
His character on the show has been quite lacking lately. Not it has nothing to do with Brandon Routh, but like he hasn't been the Atom for the last whole season. he didn't have his suit. It was
they
like
didn't really show him in the
damaged,
suit
stolen,
that
or broken.
Yeah, like they didn't.
He hardly
use
used it,
and he wasn't in that many episodes either.
Yeah, instead, he was focusing on his love with Damien Dark's daughter.
Yeah, which was weird. So I don't know what they're gonna do with that. We got Black Lightning in his new suit. I guess they gave him a new suit for this season. I didn't watch the last season of Black Lightning. I don't know. I kind of fell out of it about midway through. Like, not even. I think I watched the first 2 episodes of the last season. I was like,
I didn't finish the first season in general.
The first season was good. I enjoyed it. It wasn't great. It got a little messy for me towards the end. It just wasn't. I don't know. Towards the end of the season wasn't that great. Like the last couple episodes, I was like, all right, this is good, but it wasn't. I don't know. Like it was forgettable for me. The first few episodes were good. The second season, I watched a few of the episodes where his kids started getting powers, and it was good, but it was getting a little too weird for me. Got the other Superman from not Smallville, Supergirl. We still have yet to see Tom Welling's Superman. At this point,
or Tom Welling's Clark Kent,
or is Clark Kent? I think there's some photos of him like in that furry jacket that he has and all that kind of stuff, but we haven't seen him in any of the suit yet. I saw some picture.
I don't think we will either.
I think we will.
If we see him in the suit on screen, we will not see him until then. They're gonna go. I feel like they'll go Super Marvel with it and try to keep that as like one of the few things that we do not get any spoilers on.
Yeah, I think
they
so
will
too.
keep it tight to the vest.
I think so too, because even I saw one that looked like it could have been a real photo of him in the suit, in a suit.
How great would it be if he was in the black suit though?
That would be interesting.
Like if they brought him in as, just was brought back to life Superman from.
Yeah, because it would be weird if you gave him the suit that you see him supposedly
mullet,
wearing.
Tom Welling black suit.
Because it would be weird to see him in the suit that he was wearing, that you supposedly see him wearing at the end, because that's Brandon Routh's suit. It's the same suit as in Return of Superman, so that would be kind of weird.
The majority of the time he wore. I mean, once he got over his red and blue phase of clothes for everything he wore for 10 fucking seasons, he wore a black shirt with a gray S.
Yes, there was that whole season.
It was hard to even see the S. It was so grayed out.
Yeah, there was a whole season.
And he wore a trench coat.
Yep.
Like there was
like
3 seasons.
That was when
basically.
He went like bad. That was one season. He went like, it was when he was being corrupted by the red kryptonite.
No.
Yeah.
No, I mean he did get corrupted, but that was his crime-fighting outfit.
When he was whatever
when
they were calling him, the Blur, or whatever.
To stop. When he came out of the shadows, basically, but without letting people see him. I'm
when
not afraid
Metropolis.
to be. So that's what he would wear, was a trench coat and a black shirt.
Yeah,
So I wouldn't be surprised if we do get something similar to that. But also, everyone is gonna want him in the red and blue.
We got him in the
tighties.
We're gonna get him in the suit. I think it's been too much. It's been too long to not get him in the suit. But I'm loving Brandon Routh in that fucking Kingdom Come suit.
The only thing I don't like about Brandon Routh in that is what they did to Shazam, or to Captain Marvel in the movie Shazam, and also kind of what they did to Affleck with the bat suit. The amount of exaggerated muscles and like the tone, because I mean I love Brandon Routh, but look at his neck and his face in this picture. He doesn't have the head to go on that body.
I don't know, man. I feel like that's all him, because I've seen him in other things. Like I've seen.
I mean, he's decently cut, but
like that. I mean, he doesn't look that big. I think that picture is just because of the way he has his arms. It looks like way bigger than he is.
But they did that in the movie Shazam. There's no way
they gave him. They made his suit that big, 100%. They had him in like a puffed up suit, because they did that with him and the dude from OC and all that stuff. So that it doesn't surprise me. Oh my God, what's this?
Are we sure that Kevin Conroy is not one of the Bacon brothers?
Kevin Conroy?
He's not in the Kevin Bacon band.
He might. He kind of does look like a Bacon brother.
I mean, more so in one of those other pictures that was down there before.
Which one? I don't know. I don't know. Yeah, we're also getting a Mark Hamill Joker, which this is not that picture. This is an Otherworld Trickster.
Yeah.
But we're supposedly that's a fake picture
awful.
as well. Yeah, these are all fake pictures. But supposedly we're going to be getting a
yes.
We are not supposedly we are getting what's his name? Osric Chow is playing Ryan Choi. We are going to be getting a on-screen Mark Hamill Joker, which is another thing I'm super excited for. Like,
yeah,
why the hell not? I'm sure
he's
only
going to be the Joker from the animated universe, just like Kevin Conroy, though.
I would assume
because
so.
I don't feel like he's going to be able to pull off that look so well. If we were trying to take the characters from the cartoon.
I mean, Kevin Conroy's not going to be able to pull off the look of the animated Batman either. So, like, I'm not really concerned about that. As long as he looks good, I'll be happy. Like, I don't need to have him look like that, because I think they showed some pictures of Kevin Conroy like in the cave, which I don't have pulled up. But they have like different. They have the coolest thing about it in the one of the pictures is they have the if you've ever seen the Earth 2 or the Elseworlds or Flashpoint Batman, where it's Thomas Wayne and his suit from Flashpoint. They have that suit behind him in the Batcave in one of the stills that I've seen so far, or I guess one of the shows. Like, so there is. It'll be interesting to see what suit that they give him, or if they even put him in a suit. I hope they do.
Yeah, they might not. He's getting pretty old.
Yeah, but
he would look more like, the old man Bruce with Terry McGinnis, kind of like.
True, and he does look, from the stills I've seen, he's like a little grizzled. So I mean, he may just be, I mean, I think Conroy's he's only like 62 years old, so he's not necessarily like old man Bruce. I don't think he's gonna be. I think he's still gonna be a younger. It's not like, because I think Batman Beyond, he's supposed to be in like his 80s or 90s at that point. So not necessarily. I don't think he's gonna necessarily. Even though he's gonna be that Bruce Wayne, I don't think he's gonna be like old man Bruce Wayne.
That makes me wonder if we're gonna get old fat Selena Kyle from Batman Beyond the movie. If you remember that.
You're thinking of The Dark Knight Returns.
Oh yeah, you're right.
I don't think we're gonna get that Selena Kyle, where she's running a whorehouse.
Yeah,
I don't think that's happening. But I'm curious. I think that they're holding some cameos close to the chest that we don't know about.
I would imagine.
Like, I think there's some people in there that they're not going to talk about. And
I feel like for the amount of things that they're doing and characters, I don't know the whole storyline of what they're going to be able to do for 4 episodes.
Yeah.
But, like, just do 8.
Yeah,
do
right?
2 of each. Do 2 Flash,
like,
2 Legends, 2 Arrow. Oh, even now, you have Batwoman now. So,
yeah.
That means we could have...
Well, so it's going to be more than 4 episodes then, because you're going to have Batwoman, an episode for Batwoman, Black Lightning, Legends.
Oh, is it actually going to tie into the Black Lightning?
Black Lightning is going to be on.
It's not on the same network, is it?
No, it is.
It is.
So you're going to have an episode for Batwoman, Black Lightning, an episode for Legends, Supergirl, Arrow, and Flash. So you're getting 6 episodes.
All right, well, let's double it. Let's get 12.
I mean, 6 hours though. You don't think they're? I mean. The one thing I hope they don't do,
if they're doing an event like Crisis on Infinite Earths, you think they can't come up with 6 hours worth of footage?
No, but what I'm saying is I hope that they don't, because in the past Crisises, like, yeah, they focused on each character, but they've made it, like you were saying, like, it's almost like each episode kind of isn't part of the event almost. Like, it's so centric on this. Like, even I remember a few of the events where they, like, the Legends episode, like, yeah, it ties into the event, but it's kind of off to the side.
The one where the aliens came in.
Yeah, that one.
And it was kind of just a random thing that happened.
Yeah, and, like, the episodes didn't necessarily tie in, but they did tie in. Like, it was all the event, but it was kind of like, I don't know, like the main episodes that were the Flash and the Arrow episodes, not the other stuff. So, like, I hope that they make, instead of doing it that way where it's like, oh, it's each individual, like, no, just make it, yeah, it's a part of the season, but, like, make it a story that's start to finish, starts with Flash on Tuesday, goes through till, whatever, and it's a linear.
Well, they always do that.
Yes and no, because like I said, like some of the Legends episodes in it or stuff like that are kind of like side stories to it, or they're like
you mean the whole season?
No, I mean in the actual events themselves. Like, yeah, they're part of the event, but they might be like a B plot to the event or things like that.
Okay. But I mean, they've always been in succession.
Yo, yeah. No, they've always been. But what I'm saying is like, don't like. I hope they don't have these like, oh yeah, the Legends episode, that's gonna be the B plot of the story, or the Batwoman's gonna be a B plot, a C plot to it. Like, I don't want to see that. Like, I want to see it just. You're saying, more like a movie than.
We haven't seen. Neither of us have seen the Batwoman show yet. Right. So, but if anyone is going to be the B plot, it will be Batwoman because she's had the least amount of character development.
Yeah.
And importance to this role.
Yeah.
Like the Batmans have more important. Than the Batwoman.
Yeah.
So.
We'll see.
But I haven't seen it, so I'll give it a shot. I'll go home and I'll watch it tonight.
Yeah, I gotta watch that as well.
You gonna go home and watch it?
I'm gonna go home and watch it. Yeah. All
right.
Go home and watch it. Yeah, I gotta watch that, and then I gotta catch up on everything else. I gotta finally do that since these new seasons have started, because I only watched the episode of Flash and I didn't watch anything else yet. I could watch Legends because I finished Legends. That was 12 episodes, and I keep forgetting that I finished last season of Legends because it ends on such a weird, like
such a bad season.
The ending of it.
It had Biff.
It was
from Back to the Future.
Like, I liked
good.
The season. I thought it was a good season, but it just kind of just ends.
Well, it had Biff and Constantine, so it was good for those two reasons.
Yeah, but like it was such an anticlimactic ending to a season.
What they did though in that season, which I didn't like, was what they did with the Black Canary in Arrow. And by the Black Canary, I mean
Laura
Dinah's
Lance?
Sister. Sarah Lance.
Oh, you're talking about Sarah.
The first Black Canary.
Okay,
in the
so
show.
White Canary. Okay.
Yeah, now White Canary. So in Arrow, she wasn't a lesbian. She was bisexual. Mm-hmm. She was with Oliver.
Right.
And then she would go back and forth though.
Right.
And now that she's in Legends, she's full on lesbian. And Constantine is full on gay now. He's like in the Legends season, his love plot of the whole season is a man.
Yeah, but you're wrong.
And I'm okay with them doing that, but like
you're wrong.
For those characters, they were flipping back and forth all the time because they didn't care. I'm wrong.
You were 100% wrong, because a big part of the last season was the fact that prior to her getting with the clone agent person, she bangs Constantine in the beginning of the season.
Yeah, I think it's drunk and
doesn't matter.
Yeah,
like, but that's my point.
You're right.
Like,
I'm wrong there. I missed that.
Yeah,
but either way, the last two seasons of Legends have focused on Sarah's love life with a woman.
Just the last season,
it was leaning into it.
Yeah. Okay.
But like before then, she'd always been back on and off, back and forth. It was never known. It was like, she was bisexual, and it was awesome. It was cool. And then Constantine was, we wouldn't know though, because he's never really had a love interest in the Constantine TV show, I don't think.
Yeah, because it only lasted 4 episodes or 6 episodes.
It was a whole season.
Was it a whole season? I thought it only got like 4 episodes or something.
No, it was a whole season.
I didn't watch it past episode 2, so I don't know.
Probably should have. It was great.
Yeah, I gotta rewatch it.
It was better than the movie.
Listen, that movie
is on your wall. I see it behind you.
I will defend that movie till the day I die. Because no, it's not like Constantine the comics, but that movie was a great adaptation. They took the source material. They went a different way with it.
Keanu wants to do it again.
Yeah, and I would be totally okay with it. I would love to see a sequel to that movie. Yeah. I thought that movie was a very good adaptation. It was a different version of the Constantine story. Anyway, back to your point.
I don't really know what my point was. They made her lesbian and Constantine gay, which either way I'm okay with. It's fine. But it was like it came out of nowhere for Constantine for this Legends episode or season where they were like, he's trying to save his lover's soul and everything.
Yeah,
and that kind of came out of nowhere.
So
I don't know what my point is, honestly, though.
I think you're just talking about the weirdism of it, like how it just, like you're saying, it came out of nowhere. I don't think it necessarily came out of nowhere. I think. So, like, in the comics, at least his new comic backstory since New 52 has been, like, he was dabbling in magic. and he just like fucked up and killed everybody, like killed his family, killed his friend, all this shit. So I think they're just taking that and just directing it towards one person instead of like, oh, he fucked up and killed his family and everyone around him while he was doing that.
I mean, what they made it as was that he fucked up so bad and he found comfort. And where he found comfort in happened to be the guy.
Right.
It could have just as easily been a girl.
Yeah.
Where he found the comfort. And it wasn't something that they were like, or when I say they, I mean he was like, I like men, I'm going to find a man tonight. It was just happened to be that he found comfort and that person was there to give it to him, and that's where it went.
Yeah, but I think...
So it was a little more natural going.
Right. I think, like I said, I don't really know too much about Constantine or the Hellblazer comics or anything, but I know like he's always been a bisexual character. Like he's always just like, yeah, whatever, I'll fuck anything that moves kind of person. So that doesn't even really bother me that they did that with it.
Did I say it bothers me? Because that was probably the wrong one.
No, but like, I mean, like, to me, it did. It wasn't. I wasn't like, oh, that's out of left field. Like, I wasn't really thinking. And same thing with the Sarah Lance thing.
Well, that wasn't out of left field. That was just like they went from this, and then they drove it very hard to the point where now she has a girlfriend, and like it's affecting her job.
Yeah, but I think that they were kind of going that way. I think if you go and rewatch, like, especially with her and Arrow and all that stuff, because, like, they talk about how her and Nyssa were a thing.
Yeah.
You know, like, and, like, that's why she gets kicked out of the League of
Assassins.
That
like, we knew.
So, like, I don't necessarily think, like, I think
it wasn't the fact that it was with a woman, but how hard she went into it. That's probably what it was. More like she went into that relationship so hard that it, and I guess like the story of the season, like you know, it was part of the downfall of what made some of the episodes not be so great for the. But I'm struggling to come up with something here because it was a bad choice.
Yeah,
and it's not that she's a lesbian that's a bad choice, but how hard they made her fall in love and make it such a plot.
Yeah.
It was like she's been an aloof, mysterious character.
And it was a very quick turn.
And now she is like,
yeah.
Hi, guys.
I agree with you on that.
That's what I'm getting
at. Okay. All right.
It has nothing to do with being a lesbian.
It has nothing to do with you being homophobic.
Shut up.
That is... See? 5 years from now, we're gonna get canceled because of this podcast right here.
I blame Paul.
I blame Paul too,
and Ted.
No, I agree with you because it was a jarring turn to see her go from a loner to all of a sudden she's like,
I need my girlfriend.
Yeah, because even like when you see her when she's like getting back with Oliver when she first comes back in that first season,
she's like, leave me alone.
Yeah, like they're together, but like
I can be by myself.
Yeah, it wasn't like lovey-dovey.
In this last season, she's like, my girlfriend's upset with me. I can't do the mission.
Yeah, like there was some of that when she gets back with Oliver, but like not to this extent.
Don't you have a universe to save? Or
yeah,
don't you have time itself to save?
It was definitely like a stark turn to her character, 100%. Like there was a very like, whoop, we're gonna go and completely change this character, which was I agree with you. I can see that. Because there was some, like, even me, I was watching, I was like, wait a minute, what? Is this the same person I'm watching? Like, I don't understand what, like, why is she all of a sudden now, like, she can't live without this person?
She's no longer a badass?
Like, yeah, it was definitely a weird thing.
I want Leonard Snart back.
He's not really left.
I love when we get him back.
Yeah.
Here and there, like when the Flash goes back in time, or they go to another universe.
Or they bring him over,
because he was a very good character, and I don't know much about his character from the comics in general, but I have a feeling his character on the show is way different than his character in the comics.
Yeah. Very, very different.
But I love it.
I've become a very big Flash fan, and I've always been a big Flash fan. I know a lot about those characters, and Snart in the comics, they've made them like kind of like an anti-hero, like just the Rogues in general. Like there was a comic series of the Rogues, and they were kind of like anti-hero. Like basically when they revamped everything, the deal with the Flash and the Rogues was like, listen, I'm not like, you don't get to kill anybody. I'll let you guys do what you want. Like, come and help us when we need you, kind of thing. Like, blah blah blah. After they did a whole
don't kill anyone. I'm not coming after you.
Yeah, basically, like we won't, like, you know, I'm still gonna come after you if you're starting robbing banks and stuff, but like I'll go easy on you, kind of thing. Especially because they did a whole like an Earth 3 where the bad versions of the superhero came over. They redid that in New 52, which was actually done really well. But they got rid of all the superheroes, and it was the supervillains who had to save everyone. So like after that, they like allowed, like, the Rogues were heroes. So Flash, they kind of just made a deal, like, all right, you go do your thing.
You redeemed yourself.
You're being redeemed. Like, you can do your thing. So, but Snart has always been a dude with a code. Like, they've turned him into a character. Like, not in the early, but like early days, obviously, because, you know, back in the day, it wasn't that deep. But now, like, from the I guess probably like the late 80s on, he's been a character who, yeah, he's going to go and rob people. He's going to go and beat the shit out of people. He's not going to kill anybody unnecessarily. He's not going to turn his back on his friends. He's always going to have their backs. He's always going to make sure everybody gets out of the job. Yes, he may leave someone behind only if it's a last option. Like, he is someone with a code. Like, his big thing's like, all right, no, you don't do fucking drugs in the Rogues. Like, we're the Rogues. We stay clean. We need to do a job. You're going to stay clean. Like, if you have a drug problem, you're going to kick that fucking drug problem or you're out. Like, that's the kind of person he is. And they've done a really good job of translating that into the Flash. And it kind of makes him a good, almost anti-hero type character. Because it's kind of what he has been. He's a little bit more on the, like, he's, you know, a shitty guy with somewhat of a heart kind of thing.
The Arrowverse and CW have been very progressive with LGBT, everything. Like, even Leonard Snart in one of the crossover events when it's all about the Nazis.
Yes, the Nazi universe.
Yeah, he's
the not Nazi universe.
He's a gay man with a lover.
Yep.
And that's what he fights for, basically.
Yeah.
Which was a complete different side of Leonard Snart.
Yeah.
And it was like, oh, yes, they brought him back. Huh. Wow, he's a badass.
Yeah.
Like, he's more badass in this than he was before.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, the one thing, too, is, like, I almost don't want them to bring him back. Because I think if you bring him back as the original, like, you bring the original Leonard Snart back, it does a disservice to him sacrificing himself.
Well, they wouldn't have to bring the original back. They could bring
a different version of him back,
or they could bring him back. The sacrifice self.
Yeah, see, but that's what I'm saying. I think it does a disservice to that character when you, like, all right, well, like, he had this whole, because that first season of Legends is really about Leonard Snart. Like, I mean, when it comes down, and it's about him. Yeah, it's about his redemption, and he redeems himself by sacrificing himself to save her. He does something actually good that's not for himself. Because, like, up until everything else, we see him, he's always doing good things. He's doing good things, but there's always a benefit to him before anybody else. And I feel like you kind of throw away that his sacrifice if you just go, oh, well, he's back. Like, it's better. It's fine when it's like, oh, Barry goes back in time to deal with Snart and he sees Snart, and, like, those things are fine. I think it's the same reason why, like, in the comic book event, when Barry dies in Crisis on Infinite Earths in the comic book event, they don't bring him back. There was a reason why they never brought Barry Allen back to life up until 10 years, not even 10 years ago, like 6 years ago, they finally brought him back to life. And the whole reasoning behind that was they weren't going to diminish what Barry Allen did during the crisis. Like, by bringing him back and just going, oh, we brought him back. Same reason why they won't bring Uncle Ben back, you know, or the actual Gwen Stacy doesn't come back.
The message would be not as important.
Yeah, you lose it. It kind of does a disservice to that story. And I kind of think that Leonard Snart, it would be a bad idea. Not a bad idea, but I think it does disservice to the character moment and that important character moment that he had of redemption to just bring him back to life.
There's even Mick his character.
Yeah.
They've redeemed him as well for the most part. Even in Legends, as it focused on Leonard.
Yeah. When he was
gone.
Well. Yeah.
He was just ultimately he was like, I'm here for the ride.
Yeah.
He's like, I got nothing else to do. My best friend partner's dead.
Yeah.
I'll stick around and I'll follow your rules as long as it doesn't really get in my way.
Right.
And now he's writing books under a female pseudonym.
Yeah.
And he has a whole huge following of
yeah.
And he's this voice for women.
It's so weird.
It's so weird.
It's so weird. But I love it. I think they're doing a really good job with all
the
that.
The CWs, stuff. I think the writing for these shows, and I've seen some people on the internet and some things be like, yeah, these shows are good here and there, but ultimately the writing is garbage. And I'm like,
some of it is.
I mean, you got some episodes here and there and stuff, but I mean, think about it. You're writing a show.
Yeah.
Not a 16-page comic that isn't going to have a third, an eighth of the dialogue in it.
Right.
I mean, when you're writing a comic book and you're giving the reader imagination, you got the pictures, you got the words, and you're fantasizing about how it's going to go. When it's on TV, it's fantasy's there. It's being showed to you.
Right. No, I agree.
I mean, there's a reason why shows have multiple writers and why the writers change throughout seasons. And even throughout a movie, someone might not write later, but they wrote in the beginning, or vice versa. I don't know. I think it's pretty good writing. That's my point.
I think it's fine. I think they do a good job for the most part. I mean, yeah, there's some things that's cheesy or this or that, but
I mean, so are all the animated series, and so are comic books
everything.
In general.
Like you can nitpick on the writing. I mean, it's still fucking good shit. Like
if
really
that lady didn't have hearts as the tip of her arrows when she was obsessed with Oliver or whatever her name was, like that so cheesy, but needed to be there.
Oh, 100%. 100%, because otherwise it's like, all right, well, it's just every other person. It's not this super villain.
Oh, it's just another arrow, or, another archer coming after all.
Yeah, like it just, I agree. Like, I don't know. I'm fine with the cheesiness of it. It's a CW show. It's meant, to be honest with you, as much as the comic book nerds love it, this show's realistically meant for 15-year-olds. Like, when it comes down to it, it's the CW. It's meant for teenagers. Like that's what it is.
But I freaking love it, man.
I mean, like you think about Smallville. Smallville started? I was in maybe 8th grade when that show started, freshman in high school, whatever I was when that show came out. Like that was meant for me at that time. Like these shows are meant for high school kids. It's the CW.
But that show was also meant for you at that time, and it grew. You grew with that show, then.
Correct.
So.
Yeah, but it still didn't. It still was meant for high school kids and younger people. Like, regardless of whether or not I grew up with it, it's like saying, oh yeah, Harry Potter grew up with me. Yeah, but it's still a kid series meant for 8th and 9th graders. Like that, it's or 6th and 7th graders. Like, yeah, it grew up with me and it got better as I got older because you could relate to it more. But it's still a teenager book or preteen book, just like these shows are meant for preteens and teenagers. So it's gonna be a little fucking cheesy. It's gonna be a little I watch Riverdale and I'm like,
I have not watched that.
I think it's a great show. It's fantastic. If you like murder mysteries, that kind of stuff, it's a great show.
It's based on Archie comics.
Yeah, they did a very specific one called Riverdale that they did. It's like an alternate version of Archie, but it's cheesy. The dialogue gets really almost soap opera-y.
It's like Vampire Diaries.
But that's
any CW show.
show. Even the Netflix Sabrina one. Like Sabrina on Netflix, which is a spin-off of the Archie of Riverdale. Even though it's on Netflix and it's rated MA and it's a little bit more gory and this and that and it's more of a horror. It's still pretty fucking cheesy. It's fantastic.
I never finished the first season because I couldn't get into it.
What, of Sabrina?
Yeah.
Oh, it's so good.
I tried. I got to a certain point and I was just like, I'm going to watch something else instead.
Oh, it's so good. It's so good. I agree with you that I think it took me a little bit to get into it initially. I was I watched the first few episodes and then got kind of tired of it and then came back to it. But once I came back to it, I was like, oh, this show is amazing. What, you got somewhere to be, motherfucker? You want to wrap this up?
Well, I was just looking to see how long we've been going for.
Yeah, we've been going for, I can't see over on there, but we've been going for about 2 hours or so, I think.
Yeah, we should probably
wrap this up. All right. Yeah, we're going to wrap this up because, Mike's got places to be.
Well, I don't think people want to sit and watch us for 2 hours.
It's all good. It's all good. You hate me. It's fine.
No, I just don't want to hear your opinions about Riverdale and Sabrina anymore.
Okay.
We've no longer have mutual interest. Or I'm just not interested in what you have to say anymore.
Fine. Oh, man. All right. So we're going to wrap this up. Anyone who's still watching, like, subscribe, share this video, get it out there.
Feel free to comment on this video, especially at what point you feel you've lost interest in what we have to say, so that we can use that to make it better next time.
Getting some stats. Yeah. Like, subscribe, comment, share this video, throw it up. You can find us on Instagram. What was the Instagram that you made? How did you find this?
How did you find this one?
How did you find this one?
Yeah, the number one, not spelled out.
All right.
Because that's what they made me do.
Oh.
They wouldn't let me do anything else.
Weird. Okay.
The Facebook one is, I don't know the address for it.
Yeah. You can just look up How Did You Find This? It'll come up. On YouTube, obviously, here with How Did You Find This Podcast. I am on Twitter, and Twitch at JohnGuitar87, as well as Instagram. And I have my personal YouTube channel, which I'll leave a link in the description. Yeah.
If I can figure it out, I'll put all these links as clickable things on the end of this video.
Yeah, we'll try.
Not just in the description.
We'll figure it out.
One of those cool. This is a video that YouTube wants you to see because they know you so well, and this is a video that we want you to see. It's last week's video because we don't have any other videos.
We'll figure it out. All right, so hit us up on all the social medias and whatnot, and we'll see you next week.
Peace.